Okay, is it on? Okay. So, this is the same colt, obviously. It's been about 5 minutes. Just put my mare away. So what I just did was I had the rope around his neck and worked on his body, putting this rope all over it, around his cinch and his flank. So now I want to put it on his hind foot and kind of see if I can get him to yield to the pressure of his hind feet, and then eventually his front feet. The hind feet are usually harder. So I'll start with them, because once that's through, then we're usually all right. I'm just going to move him this direction just a little bit. I'm going to take down my rope a little bit, because I'm the world's worst roper. But once it's on, I'm pretty good. I'm just going to take this, slip it in there. Now it's going to take a step over. I haven't done any of the done much of the yielding or anything yet, so he's still learning how to do that. There we go. I'm going to tighten this up here, right around the bottom. Now I want him to go the other way, so he doesn't accidentally step on that. I'm going to kind of drive him over there. There we go. Now I'm just going to let him carry that for a minute here. Now again, this is probably more important than around his body. But again, I do not use gloves, because if I use gloves, I'm going to hold a lot tighter than I should, and I don't want to burn him. The last thing I want to do. A lot of people use the protective boots, and if I have to, I will, if they're really a crazy horse or something. But I found when I use the boots, the lariat doesn't release, and it causes problems. It somehow gets like stuck on that boot. I've had it happen more often than not. So just let him walk here. I'm going to let him walk around, and when I stop him, my left hand here is going to be my base. My right hand is going to go with his movement. Sometimes I've had them, and I'm going to wait until he gets around so the camera can kind of catch it. I've had them where this rope is singing for an awful long time when they start panicking about their feet. But this is good. You're riding down the trail. He gets hung up in barbed wire or in anything. They get cast in their stall. You don't want them to panic. You want them to kind of kick back and wait. So I'm going to, thank you. I'm going to plant. Now what I actually want him to do is yield real nice to that rope. Also, I'll do this I'm going to try and talk here. Just going to let him go with it, but keep that pressure on there. If you have a horse that's bad for shoeing, this is what you're going to want to do. And I've had horses that were real bad for shoeing become an absolute, pride and joy of the farrier just by getting them good right here. So I have just enough pressure there. I'm not going to release until he gives to me, just because he stopped. That's nice, but no, I don't want that. You'll see it here in a minute. I want it to be putty in my hands, this foot. It's almost there. Kind of, he's pulling on me a little bit there. Wait. Almost. There. Kind of let it kind of hang there in my hand. That was good. I just kind of release it. So this hand plants. This hand has to move with it. The dog got him. So let him come around. Wrangler. And again, I'm going to grab a hold of that. Get a little pressure there. Wait on him. Eventually, I'll be able to send this guy around at a full gallop. Grab a hold of this foot, and he'll come to a screech and stop. As soft, as light as a hummingbird. Allie. So it never looks real pretty to start. There we go. See, now he's letting me play with that. Oh, there, he took it from me. There, I give it back. But I've had horses that I get so good at this, they'll get cast or something, they'll get hung up in there, and they just lay there and they wait. And you go and you climb in on top of them and you pull their feet out and you pull them over, and they're like, all right. As opposed to thrashing and going all over the place like that initial reaction you saw. when he went flying around here, if that was barbed wire, he wouldn't have a leg left. And this also, once they understand that you really got control of their feet, they kind of give to you. It changes them a lot. I've had some really rough horses, and all of a sudden I get this pretty good, and it's a whole brand new horse that comes out the other side. Every once in a while you'll get one that as soon as you start picking up that foot, they just start going backwards. That's great. But if that happens, I'll just like hook them up to nothing solid, like one of the tie blockers or something like that, or have somebody competent stand on the outside of the fence and just kind of have it wrapped so that they can't just go backwards. I want them to yield to that by just picking it up until I actually ask them to go backwards by that foot, or frontwards or sideways by that foot. There we go. And he's looking at me a lot. He's saying, "Hey, am I doing all right?" And I'll say, "Yep, you're doing great." Give them all the approval they need right now. Send them off. So people yell at me all the time for the dogs going around after these horses, but then pretty soon they're thanking